Hi y'all, I hope you're doing well today. Today's lesson will be quick. It will be on biodiversity, and the video itself will not be very long, but you will have stations to work through on a Google worksheet, and I'm going to go through that in just a second. But today's lesson is on biodiversity, and it is our fourth lesson for Unit 5. Again, I always start with my calendar. We are right here on the 16th or maybe the 17th, whatever day you're watching this. So we do have 4 more lessons in Unit 5 for y'all to be aware of. There are a couple announcements. The first one are grades are a thing now. I know that it's been a lot. They started technically April 13th, which was Monday. So if you're behind on work, make sure you complete anything posted April 13th and afterwards, because we can actually give you a grade for that. So if you're playing catch up, focus on the stuff that's most recently posted and then do some backlogging if you need to. But I wanted to let y'all know. And if you are concerned with how this is going to affect your GPA, if you have failed a previous semester, failed semester 1 or quarter 3, and you're wondering, am I going to pass? Please come to office hours and I can help explain to you the grading system. Or if you want to boost and get a higher GPA, please come to office hours. I can also explain how you can boost your office hours. Sorry, you can boost your GPA. And then my last announcement is that there will be a final, and that will be the week of May 11th through 15th. Again, if you have questions, please come to office hours, which are 1:30 to 2:30. Okay? And we're going to go ahead and get on with our lesson. So before you do anything else, you're actually going to start on Google Classroom. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to go watch this biodiversity worksheet. Go work on this biodiversity worksheet. And it's on Google Classroom. You'll work through the different stations, and it's a worksheet, so you won't know the answers. I can leave feedback and let you know if you got the answers correct or not. But this will be 3 quick grades because it's just completion grades for this. 70 is if you randomly guess, and I can obviously tell when you randomly guess if you get less than 10%, right? And you do not fill in any short answers. You fill them in with I don't know, or you just write something where you clearly didn't try. You can get an 85 if you left some of the short answers blank or wrote I don't know, but you did at least try on some of them. And if you attempt all questions, even if you don't get them right, I am giving hundreds. So make sure you try and get that 100, and you try to get all of the answers right, or at least attempt those short answers. Okay, so if you've done that and you're already back here, we're going to start talking about what biodiversity is. You should have already gone through some of those stations that taught you about biodiversity, but I'm going to kind of reestablish some of those things that was talked about. So first thing I want to do is I'm going to break down this word diversity. When we think of diversity, hopefully you think of lots of different things. And in life, but also in biology, diversity means a variety or a lot of different types. And what this is referring to in biology is a lot of different types of animals, a lot of different types of species, just the wide variety of life forms present in an ecosystem. So biodiversity is talking about how many different types of organisms are living in this one space. Now, there are 3 different features that kind of determine an ecosystem's biodiversity. And the first one is the ecosystem diversity. The next one is the species diversity, how many different species there are in that ecosystem. Genetic diversity, because the species can all be the same and look the same and be really close in genetics, and they're not very diverse. So all 3 of these things play a key role in how diverse an ecosystem is. And how diverse an ecosystem is, or the biodiversity of that ecosystem, really plays a role in the healthiness and the stability, how long that ecosystem is going to be around. So let's think about it. Let's think about the biodiversity, how diverse a desert is compared to a rainforest. I want you to think about what kind of animals you'd find in a desert, what kind of animals you'd find in a rainforest, and kind of think about, can you come up with a lot for the desert, or can you come up with more for the rainforest? In your mind, if you were saying, you know what, I can come up with a lot more in the rainforest, it's more diverse, you are correct. And there's a couple reasons why this rainforest is more diverse. It's in a biome with a, more temperate climate, and we're going to talk about biomes next week, but it's in a biome with a more temperate climate, so more animals are allowed to survive there, more are reliant on these different levels of the ecosystem, whereas in the desert, a lot of that diversity is just in the plants. They have very little animals that can survive in the desert, but there's a lot more that can survive in the rainforest. So we are going to talk about the types of biodiversity. Again, there's ecosystem, species, and genetic diversity. So genetic diversity is talking about this variation in genes that exist within a species. So organisms with a large gene pool, we've talked about that before, have a greater chance of surviving and flourishing within a population than a population with limited genetic variability. So an example of this is if a certain percentage of the population is resistant to disease, then that population is going to, if the disease comes to that ecosystem, that population that's resistant to the disease will go on to survive, but they're most likely resistant to that disease because they have a similar genome, or there's something in there's a mutation in their genetics that lets them be resistant. Now, though that small population is going to go on to continue the populations for future generations, and they're not going to be very diverse. So they're going to have to bring in diversity through other ways, through gene flow, which is migration between different populations and different ecosystems. They're going to have mutations happen, and that's really related to natural selection. Now, my second diversity is species diversity, which is just talking about the number of species in a particular location. So let's say in this safari ecosystem down here, we have 10 different species. But over here in this rainforest, we have 15 species. Okay, this rainforest has a higher species diversity than this safari ecosystem, which makes sense. The hottest spots for species diversity are closer to the equator. So like we were talking about, those milder climates, rainforests are going to be hot spots for species diversity. So on the quiz, if I ask you, is a safari or a rainforest ecosystem going to have higher species diversity? Okay, I'm going to show you a map. If it's closer to the equator, you know that it's going to be the answer. So this is kind of a cool fact, is that tropical rainforests comprise only 6% of the land on Earth, but they actually have nearly 50% of all the species on Earth. So again, they are hot spots. They have the most diverse plants, animals, bacteria even, fungi, of any other place on Earth. So again, hot spots are the equator. If you didn't know where the equator was, I just drew it on this map. Hopefully y'all all do. And my last one is ecological or ecosystem diversity. This is the variety of ways that species interact with each other and the environment. So I have this example here, is that the coastal plains of the Gulf differ from the plains of Central America by the types of species found there, as well as the temperature and rainfall. So because it has a better conditions of climate and better species, this one's going to have stronger ecological diversity. Really quickly, I'm going to go through some benefits of biodiversity. Why are we worried? Why are we concerned with biodiversity? It actually boosts ecosystem productivity. So larger number of plant species means a greater variety of crops, which serves the human race really well. Healthy ecosystems can better withstand and recover from a variety of disasters, like tornadoes, hurricanes, floods. The major one being floods, and then greater species diversity ensures that natural stability for all life forms. And I'm going to link a video, and I hope y'all watch it, and it's why is biodiversity important. and it kind of goes into these benefits of biodiversity. A healthy biodiversity provides a number of benefits for everyone, including us. We actually need ecosystems to survive because oftentimes ecosystems surround water sources. And if that ecosystem is thriving, it's protecting a water source, such as a lake, a river, a pond. This also kind of correlates to soil formation and protection for, plants that allow us to have oxygen to breathe, but also any crops that we were talking about. We're going to talk about the different cycles. So right now, just understand that it helps with nutrient storage and recycling. So we're going to talk about the nitrogen cycle, the carbon cycle, the phosphorus cycle, and the water cycle. All of those are really, really important to ecosystems because ecosystems are where we get these materials recycled to be able to use them for new living things. A strong biodiversity also helps with pollution breakdown and absorption. It contributes to a stable climate. So we've been talking about climate change. Stable ecosystems help keep our climate also stable. And again, that recovery from unpredicted events like natural disasters. We also get things from ecosystems and from nature, but we don't always talk about it. So biological benefits could be that we get food. Remember those crops? Medical resources or pharmaceutical drugs. Oftentimes those come from specific plants or herbs that are isolated. Even some painkillers come from diverse venom from different snakes. So if we didn't have those diverse snakes, we wouldn't have specific painkillers. Wood products. If you've ever had a wooden chair, wooden table, those require trees and a strong ecosystem for those trees to grow that tall and be that large in order for us to make wood products from those things. Ornamental plants, if you've ever had plants or flowers in your house, they're just, joyful to look at. Breeding stock, population reservoirs, and then diversity in gene, species, and ecosystems. So again, we want a large variety of things. There's also this one that we don't always think about. If we're talking about enjoying nature and enjoying these ecosystems, there's a social benefit. This also, it can be supported by research, education, and monitoring. And it can be supported through recreation and tourism. It sometimes has cultural values. Specific land can be tied to specific cultures, specifically Native American land in America. So they also have these social benefits to strong ecosystems on specific areas of land. So by the end of this lesson, I want to make sure that you can describe how biodiversity contributes to sustainability of an ecosystem. We just listed a bunch of examples. If you cannot do that right now, make sure you go back and rewatch this video again, or rewatch the video that Miss Lynn is going to link in the assignment folder. Besides that, I have no other announcements besides that you do have a exit ticket today, whose password is cacti, because y'all know that I love cacti. And we're talking about plants, which is kind of fun. Cacti, it's so cute. And then you also have a quiz tomorrow, which will be quiz 4. I'm going to tell you that it's mainly going to be over those animal relationships. So it's going to be 10 questions again, 6 questions on animal relationships, and 4 questions on biodiversity. Okay, my last announcement is that I'm going to go through the virtual tracker, and I'm going to link a video right here. So if you have been confused on how to use that virtual tracker to see your progress, please stick around, and I'm going to link that video at the end of this video. Hey, also, I just wanted to walk you through this biology virtual learning tracker. I know y'all seen it, and if some of y'all used it, but if you have not used it, I wanted to show it to you. It has all of the students listed here. At the top, I have all of the assignments, due dates, and even when I update it. So if I want to update this, I can't it doesn't automatically update anytime y'all complete an assignment. I actually manually go in and click, okay, this person has completed this exit ticket. This person completed this worksheet. So that's why at the yellow at the top, I have that, okay, I updated this last at this time. If you still don't see it after I update it, then you can email me, but please hold off emails until that's updated after the time that you completed that assignment. Now, if you're like, okay, I didn't complete this specific exit ticket, I have started linking all the assignments. Let's say you didn't complete this exit ticket, or this independent practice, you can actually click on that link where the assignment says, and you can actually go do that. So hopefully this will make completing assignments a little bit easier, so you can have access directly to where those assignments are, so you don't have to search for them. Just so you'll also know, anything due after April 13th can be counted as a grade. And I'll show you that in just a second. So everything from Unit 5 Quiz 1 onward is going to count as a grade. So anything from now on that's going to count as a grade, I will put in green just to make sure that y'all know that's going to be counted as a grade in the grade book for your quarter 4 grades. If you have any questions about grades, please come to office hours and I can explain how they'll be handled. But also, if you click on that plus sign in the right corner that I just clicked on, you can actually expand and see what percent of your class has completed this assignment. And we're going to have some sort of class competition for the next couple quizzes and assignments. So you want your class to be fully participating. But you can also see, other members of your class by clicking the plus sign at the very top. And that will expand it by class period. If you want to sort it by class period, you can click the arrow at the very top and then click sort A to Z, and it'll sort it by class period as well. But normally I'll just have it alphabetized so you can go find it by your last name. Okay, that's pretty much it. But if y'all have any further questions, please let me know. Hopefully this was helpful.